So I want to discuss symbols today. I've been wrought with symbolism lately, and I just feel like maybe it's knowledge that I should share, that I could share, that I should share. So this video is brought to you by Makeup by Mel. She is fantastic. She is in the Wentzville, St. Charles area. There's a link down below to all her work. I know she does tattoo makeup, like permanent makeup. She does nails design. Just go to the link, check it out. It's cool stuff, man. She's a good friend, so make sure to tell her I sent you. And let's get to crack-a-lackin'. Welcome, AQUA SPIRITS, cross-watchers, and patrons. So I figured we would talk a little bit today, because I haven't really done any talk segments yet. There's a binaural that's playing in the background right now. If you do not want to be a part of the experiment, feel free to listen to without headphones. It should not be loud enough to affect anything without the headphones. However, with the headphones, it should help us sync much better. So symbols. How are symbols given power? Well, that's pretty easy. A symbol is drawn by somebody in a respected position, somebody in an authoritative position, and they tell you that this symbol means this. So a red hexagon with these white letters in the middle, this means stop. Now, us as a society say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And we give that symbol power. Okay? To the point where we have culturally agreed on a policing system that gives cities and municipalities the ability to ticket and punish you for not correctly adhering to the meaning of the symbol. A symbol can be given power multiple ways, and the ancient symbols have been given power over generations. Now, let's halt back for a second and think of the mechanics of this, okay? If we agree that manifestation is a driving force behind how our reality works, then enough people, enough belief, enough gumption, enough energy can manifest reality in various ways. So let's take a look at the cross. Okay. The Catholic, Christian, Judeo-Christian, Abrahamic religion cross. It is seen as something that is to represent the Christianity, like I said, the Abrahamic religions. Now, what a lot of people don't know is the Judeo-Christian cross is a shorthand of a pagan symbol that was used to define the yearly calendar. The cross showing the solstices and we can do this. Okay? It's a little bastardized, but come on. All right, now, we have the solstices, as in chit. We have the 4 seasons. Okay. In the center being the sun, and divided, let's see, the 3. So, Okay. Is that looking a little more familiar for those of you that read tarot? Maybe. A little bit, maybe. So this is an example of how symbolism can evolve. You know, early Christianity, early Catholicism, Jesus was always shown with the cross over the back of his head, the sun, which goes around in the 12 zodiacs, as his 12 disciples that he travels with. Anyway. And now they hold that symbol sacred. They use it for protection. They use it for blessing. They use it for all sorts of things. All sorts of things. I've seen the crosses used for all sorts of stuff. You know, it's even transcended lore. You know, vampire lore and a werewolf lore, and symbols being given power by humans is not anything new. Now, on that same note, if we look at how the symbols are used, they're used for worship. They're used for identification. They're used for calming. Now, there's like some odd million segments of DNA in your body, and each segment of DNA actually carries its own memory. Actually, even water carries memory, and your body's like 80% water, 70% water, something like that. Whatever the Earth is, that's the same percentage of water that we have in our body. Water carries memory as well. Most of our DNA carries memory through pictures, pictography, or symbols. So these symbols that we worshipped for generations are recognizable down the line because we inherently know what the symbol is supposed to mean. Now, that doesn't mean something can get bastardized. For instance, the swastika, if you're familiar with swastika. It has been adopted by it was adopted by the Nazi Party in Germany. The Nazi Party was just completely entrenched in the occult. Even people that were close to, like when they captured some of the Third Reich, some of the higher ranking officers in the Third Reich and stuff, they were talking about how strange the behavior was from these people, almost like somebody from a different culture, like somebody not raised in a Judeo-Christian, there's culture shock that was apparent there, because they were so entrenched in this esoteric knowledge that they were following it like rhetoric. Okay, that kind of power, that kind of intent, and so many things done in the name of, so many horrors done in the name of, tainted the symbol. It used to be a symbol of good luck. Actually, that symbol was one of the oldest symbols in human culture. It transcended history. Like it transcended history books. Nobody actually knew where that symbol came from. Food for thought. And yet, in just a couple of generations, it's been bastardized. It's been adopted by people, and we have accepted their use of the symbol, and they're willing to use it as their persona. We've accepted that. Same thing happened with the Confederate flag. Badges, flags, all that stuff. We give that power, folks. We give that power by recognizing someone else's use of it. Another example of symbolism that is accepted, across the board would be language. In our language, it would be complicated for all of us to have a sigil custom made for us at birth that we use to define ourselves. So what we have done is we've used sound to create a series of symbols, and we have assigned a sound to each symbol, and then each name has its own set of characters, and each character has its own sound, and when we put it together, you have a word, and the word can be given meaning just as the symbol. But that's how we have made a semi-universal communication platform. That is how we have made literacy in the written word just affect the globe. Before the written word, stories were passed down, and stories could be told by symbols. But here's the thing: if you draw a sun on the wall in a cave, we all recognize that as the sun. However, I may say the sun rises, while the next person say, well, the sun sets. The third person may say the sun sits in the sky. A symbol tells a story, and a symbol could stand for 1,000 words. That's the beauty of symbols. It's partially art as well as a language and a communication tool. Symbols can evoke. Let's just discuss the difference between sigils and runes or symbols. Anybody can create a sigil. You can make a sigil out of a word, out of a series of words, out of a name. You're just making a symbol that you can incorporate whatever you needed to incorporate with that. So whether it be a spell, whether it be a reminder, whether it be a logo, whatever. That sigil is given power by you. Now, when I do spell work, when I do magic, I rarely use sigils. And here's why. Unless the power has been given to the sigil by multiple people with conviction, the conviction of religion, or the conviction of meaning, and I live my life by that kind of rhetoric for a symbol creates a resonant, staying frequency, in my opinion. That's why I choose to use symbols that are ancient symbols or are universal symbols. I rarely use custom symbols unless it's something for like my logos and stuff. Actually, that is there is a cool video about the use of ancient symbolism in corporate logos and modern day corporate logos. Everything from Taco Bell looking like a steeple to the ram horns and the McDonald's logos. It's super interesting video, and I'm going to link it in the description below here. But that's the reason that I use ancient symbols, because to me, they resonate with ancients of the past, souls of the past. They resonate with people who may have studied that same school of knowledge, it could be decades apart, it could be miles apart, states apart, countries apart, worlds apart. And if they studied that same school of knowledge and they recognize that symbol, they know exactly what that symbol means when they see it. So that's the reason that I choose to use ancient symbols, especially in my spell work, or like in my tattoos and stuff, in my face painting. Like I said, it resonates at a much greater frequency with a much deeper resonance than I could create with a sigil. Not saying that sigils aren't useful. Sigils are very useful. In fact, when I first started playing with symbols, or sigils, I should say, one of the first exercises that I did was to create a sigil that represented my happiness. And then the next step was to draw that sigil somewhere that I saw it first thing every morning. So this is where I got into the habit of markering on my glass, on my mirrors and stuff. Because I wanted to wake up, and first thing I did was look in the morning when I brushed my teeth. So I put my symbol for happiness there. And you know what? Every morning I woke up and I remembered, like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. That's, I drew a symbol that meant a million things in my head as far as being happy. And that was the beginning of a lot of symbol work for me. So discussing some basics, discussing like the pentagram. For as long as I've been drawing pentagrams, you would think I'd be a lot better at drawing them, but I'm not. This is universally recognized through witchcraft, Wicca, and a lot of other earth religions for the same type of symbolism. Okay. Now, what this represents it transcends many meanings. First off, it's it's a person with a head, 2 arms, 2 legs. It also represents the 4 elements with spirit. Now, right side up, the pentagram is spirit to the sky, spirit to the heavens, spirit to God. A very holy symbol. Upside down, again, this represents spirit down, earthly desires, earthly motivations, earthly accumulations, which is also why it was adopted by satanic cults and by organized religions that saw the here and now as the end all be all, or the only thing to have to worry about at this moment. Also, the elements, the 4 elements are another relatively universally recognized symbols, I should say. Earth, wind, fire, and water. As of lately, there's been the nothing, there's been the void, and there's been spirit, or the self. If you believe, positive and negative, if you believe that we are all fractals, then the self and spirit are the same thing. All right. The runic alphabet is something that I find quite interesting. If you follow the story of Jesus, if you follow the story of the fool in tarot, Dionysus, if you follow Mithra, to me, Odin. Odin is one of the oldest recorded gods that we have in history, and he went to the well at the bottom of Yggdrasil, and traded his left eye, his soul eye, for knowledge, and hung on Yggdrasil on the great tree of life, upside down for 7 days, and died. And when he came back, he discovered these runes. So just look up, I can put a PDF or something on there. But he discovered these runes, and these runes ended up being the base of the Nordic alphabet, the Norse alphabet. I'm not sure how to properly announce that. So again, that's one of the oldest set of symbols and language created. So that's another reason I like to use runes and stuff a lot. Now, some of you may want to know what's going on with the face stuff here. So I'm just going to give it to you as simply as possible. On my brow, above my eye chakra, I'm using the Koho Badin, which represents cosmos or omnipresence. Where is it? All right. That's probably going to be backwards. On the side, I use the claw, Akoko Nan. I'm probably just fucking that all up, but it's a chicken's claw. It represents protectiveness and loving discipline. On this side, we have the symbol for Gaia, Gaia 9, the presence of God, or God alone. We have Waba Abba, or Wawa Abba, Wawa seed, Wawa, I believe is water. Overcoming barriers, movement, progression. That is the symbol for Gunir. Wait, am I pronouncing that right? Yeah, Gunir, which is Odin's spear, his weapon of choice. Dwarven magical weapon given to Odin, which never misses its mark and always returns to Odin's hand. These represent amplification, and then on the inside of my wrists, I draw, Chokure. It is from Reiki. It's supposed to focus the energy of the cosmos into a single point, and which, by the way, that's what spirals are for anyway. So that's just the stuff that I draw on my face, guys. This is a modification on a totem. I have Hunan and Moonin, Odin's ravens. The Magician and the Strength card. These are both custom cards. I gave my artist room to run, and she ran. And let me tell you, I was very, very happy of it. Very, very happy with them. Faggy and Gary, well, you can't really see that. It's a wolf. And I've got symbols on my back as well. To me, tattoos are a rite of passage. Tattoos are a spiritual rite of passage. And so every one of my tattoos has some sort of spiritual meaning or association to it. It draws blood. It evokes an emotion, whether it's the person looking at it, the person drawing it, or me as the person getting it. There's so many ritualistic aspects of it that, it just clicked with me one day that all my tattoos are spells. So that's what I do. That's what I do. I want to be able to discuss things openly, concepts and stuff, just to transcend the idea. Okay. Let me put it to you like this. If you're studying something and you're not growing your knowledge base, then what are you doing? Okay, I'm going to give you, for instance, on this. While I was ass deep in studying tarot and studying the symbolism in tarot, and I've always been fascinated with tarot. I've been doing tarot for about 20 years, and probably about 5 of those years successfully. But I became so entrenched in it that I started writing down ideas and concepts that I hadn't seen other places. So I ended up with a small notebook of custom spreads that I developed before I realized that I could go on the internet and download spreads and see what other people are doing, and it just seemed way more interesting. I do still have my custom spreads, and I do intend on showing some of those custom spreads on this channel here soon. Go in the comments. Let me know what you think, man. I'm open for discussion on any of this stuff. If you want to tell me I'm wrong on something, if you want to correct me on something, if you think my usage is improper, if whatever you guys think, man, let's just talk. For real, let's talk. Go down in the comments and let's talk. There is a Facebook page now. If you guys didn't know, I will link the Facebook page down below so that you can find us and be a part of what we're doing here at AQUA SPIRITS. My friend Fox is going to be joining us on some talks here soon, and we're getting ready to start another podcast. So stay tuned for that. I'll definitely keep it plugged in. It's going to be the same kind of content that we do here, less divination and more discussion. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned and we'll keep that going. Until next time, guys, just be a good person.
It's your friend, Reverend Mayhem. I'm just reminding you to hit that subscribe button and then the notification bell so that you can be updated when we put new content out. Like and share the video because that helps us build a community and it costs nothing, so it's nice to do. But while you're down there, make sure you leave a comment and tell me what your favorite part of the video, or just talk to me. Just talk to me, dog. Just talk to me. Consider supporting our channel through PayPal. There's a link down in the description below. There's also links to items that we used in this video. Last but not least, there's also a Facebook link down in the description below, deciding on what we want to do with the community, and we can definitely use your input on it. So if you guys want to come put your 2 cents in and discuss the building of the future of this channel for you, I'm wide open.